Okay, great. So welcome to Webinar Wednesday, everyone. My name is David Lefebvre. I'm a PDM specialist with Hawkridge System, and today's Wednesday webinar will be about, and then here it is, design, branching, and merging. So the new SolidWorks PDM 2018 is packed with a lot of enhancement, and this one is a pretty powerful one. So basically, it will allow you to be more flexible with your design when it comes to design iteration. You won't have to do the manual workarounds that you were used to do. So you can think of something like going back and forth your versions, for example. So you would use a version 1 here and there, the version 2, and then you would basically use the as-built functionality in PDM. Another workaround that you can think of could be the designing outside the vault or designing another file or something like that, and then overriding or the main file with creating a new version with overriding over kind of doing a manual version. So branching and merging not only will enhance the collaboration of your design, but the prototyping, exploring different design, this is all going to be facilitated to kind of get to your final product. And this is what we're going to see today, how to do that and how to use that feature. So basically, it's going to be in two steps here. Understanding the process of branching and merging, and then we'll do an example of the engineering change. So let's not go to the thank you for attending yet. Let's just jump into it and look at how the feature works. So first part, I'm just gonna take a simple assembly that I have here. It's a cam, kind of a climbing cam here that you can see. And then I'm just gonna play with the color of the lobe just to see, how we can create different design and choose between those one and merge them back. So let's see, what am I logged in as? Okay, I'll log in as admin at first, and then we'll play with different user when we get to the engineering change example. All right, so I have my cam and already made a couple of design, the green and the red. So those one here, I have the green color and the red color. And the way I did that is by just going on my assembly, and from there I can right click and use my branch. You can use the tool here and use the branches. You can see that if there was any associated branches, I would see it here. But if you do it on a part, for example, it would only be associated with that part. So because I did just a lobe here, my associated branch is on that part, and you can see those new design. If you don't have the right click in here, not a problem. You can always customize your menu. You can always come and right click here, and on your file right click, just add. There's three things that you can add in here. It's basically the associated branches, which show you which branches are associated with the product, the branch, and the merge that you would use for this feature here. So all you have to do is the plus sign here and then put it wherever you want on your right click. So I already did that. I can already do the right click on the lobe and branch. So I'm gonna do a new branch. So for some of you guys are familiar with the copy tree or the move tree, you can see that this is the same type of interface. You have the branch, you have to have a branch name. That's why there's a asterisk here. So the branch name is mandatory. So I'm just gonna go ahead, and this one is gonna be a lobe design, and I'll put this one, let's say yellow. The other thing here, similar to copy tree, you can include drawings, simulation, name the drawing after their model. This is pretty standard. You can use the version latest or reference. And then you have your transform operation here. So if you want to rename with a serial number, if you want to add a prefix, a suffix, that will be handy if you want to just test out design and have your replace functionality here. So you can see here I don't have a whole lot. I just have one file. It's already it's already telling me to have the name of this file, so I'll just browse and put this one in my new cam design and select that folder. And then I can also change the name of my branch here manually. So if I want to, I can just put yellow. That will differentiate from the other one I have. Other couple of options here. Let's see. So other couple of branches options here is your check-in after check-in after branching, and you can put a comments for your history basically. So that's pretty much it. Just looking at a couple of questions here. Can branching only be done in PDM? Yes, so this is a PDM functionality. So you trigger it from PDM and it's inside PDM. Okay, so I'm just gonna check it in and branch, and it will create that yellow lobe design here. I can go check in my new cam design and I have those. You can see that I have my, those are all associated with a branch. If I go on the lobe, I will see the 3 branches that I have created, the green, the red, and the yellow. So let's go to my yellow. I'll just do a slight modification and use the yellow for that part. Quick. And then what we're gonna do is just merge it back and see how it brings the file back in. So quick change. Just gonna go here, change the color of this, just so we have a little change. That's good. And just check it back in. There we go. And close that. All right. So looking at the preview, this one should be red. This one should be yellow. This one should be green. And my original lobe is the kind of metal color lobe here. So a couple of ways to merge. I can go on the lobe here, right click, and look at my associated branch. If I want to bring the green in, if I want to merge the green to my main design, I can go on an associate branch, right click, and merge. I can also browse to those directly, or I can just do the merge from here. I could also, if I'm on my alternate design, I can also come here and use that merge function here. So both of those would get you to this interface, which again, very similar to copy tree, allows you to merge it back. So you have the check-in on merge here that I can use, and then I'm just gonna merge it back. So I'll merge this. And now what happened here if I go to my main cam or that lobe, you can see that the preview of that lobe is now the red. The name did not change. So what happened here is you have a main branch, right? Or not main branch, but main production design, for example. You're creating, new files to work on, completely independent. And then once you kind of like, okay, I really like that red, you can actually bring it back in your main branch without changing the name. So if you're using serial number, we'll use the same serial number. And this is a good way to just bring back your file in. Again, doesn't change the name. So if I go on this lobe and decide I'm going with the green one, I can do it from here, and it will basically merge my file and to the green one automatically. So you don't have to override. It does create a new version. You can see this one I did not check it in on merge, so it's checked out. You can see that my version is going to get updated on check-in, so it's going to create a new version here, and I have the whole full history to say what happened here, merge from this design, so it's all mapped to your history, no problem here. All right. So what if we put it in a little situation of engineering change? So I have this project here where I have this kind of a grill. So let's look at the product. It's a still a grill, and I have this burner panel here that I want to explore new design. So this burner panel, this guy here. So I want to explore new design for this guy. So I'll go in my engineering change, create a new engineering change. And let's see how I could do this. So say explore new burner panel design. And I'll just create that file. What I can do here is to facilitate my user, the engineer is going to do the work. I'm just going to copy my burner panel assembly that is approved, that is in production, Rev A. And what I'll do is I'll just paste it on my engineering change, paste as a reference so I can find it easily. So now I have my engineering change. I'll check it in. It's got it's associated with the product, so I can see it under the contains here. What I'll do is I'll just send that and send it to an engineer. I'll send that to Mike and just work on new designs. Right? So now I can just go and log in as Mike. So Mike would get in our vault and get a notification. Notification comes in. Basically, there's an engineering change. It's went from pending to release. So work on new design, so I can actually browse to that engineering change. Look at the burner assembly. I'll browse to it. There's my burner assembly. So what I want to do is explore new design. I don't really want to change it from an approved state right now and start changing it. We're just exploring new design ideas, right? So what I can do here is I'll do the same thing that I did previously. I'll just branch. Now this is an assembly. I'll grab its reference automatically. And then I'll name this one, you know, maybe I'll go burner panel design 2. And I'll add the prefix to all those, design 2. So now it's just, you know, naming those design 2. And then instead of putting it in my project and my grill, I have my little working folder where I already did a design 1. Let's just say I got the engineering change before, and then I did the design 1. Now I'm at design 2. So I'll select this folder, create my design 2. I'll check all that in automatically. Actually, I could have let it checked out because I'm gonna go and modify it, but whatever. I'll go and open it and check it out. So working folder, I have a design 1 that I already did. So if I look at my design 1, I worked on this one. Let's say I just worked on this one and I changed the panel to add like a surface, a top surface different with the same knobs. My design 2 on the other end, I'd like to change the knob. I get a supplier, let's say that a supplier that has new knobs, for example. So I have those new knobs that isn't a vendor part. So it's not my parts. I just want to use those. So I'll go in my working folder. I'll open my second design and modify it. So I'll check out my assembly. And what I'll do is I'll just replace those knobs. And I'll replace those knobs with my vendor part. This guy. Okay, so a little, I'm just gonna go and resolve this. Should be good. So now I have my new knobs on my old panel, and that's my, second design iteration. I'll just check this in. Okay, new knobs. There we go. So now I have two separate designs. I have my design one that is the different top with the same knobs, and my design two that has got the same top and the other one. If I look at my project one on the grill, I still, this burner panel still looks the same panel, same knobs, and it's still approved. So, what I would do at this point, I would probably go on my working folder, and maybe I'm involved on the design team. We look at those two options and we're like, okay, yeah, those two options are actually pretty good. So I'll just, I would go and say, I'm gonna submit this for approval. And then I'm gonna actually, somebody reviews it, goes like, yeah, those two options are great. That's, those are two great options. So those are kind of approved. They could be on their separate workflow. They can be on the same workflow, but the thing is they're independent from your main production design. So you're exploring design, you're actually approving this is looking good. So what I would do here is I can actually copy this to my engineering change, and I can start referencing those as well, right? So I'll check out this guy and then start pasting as reference my two other options. I'll paste this one. I'll go back in my working folder and paste, copy and paste this one as well. All right, so now I can check this in. I have my design one, design two, and attached it at engineering change, and done with alternate designs. And then I'm just gonna send that, to Dave, and Dave can, choose a design. So now I can log in as Dave, get another notification. Dave can just choose a design and incorporate it in our main production, right? Oh, Dave. Oh. Dave. There you go. Okay. So Dave gets in. Should get a notification soon. So if Dave go there's my notification. So here's the engineering change. I need to choose a design. Look at my engineering change. I have two different designs there. I can actually browse to it, go look at my design, and then make a decision. So because they're approved and because my grill is approved too, if I want to bring this in, let's say I choose the design one and I decide I merge this design, here's where I run into an issue. Those guys are approved in my main design. So I won't be able to just go and merge an alternate design or a chosen design because those are protected to my workflow, right? So the idea here would be that the idea here is before I merge, I would go in my assembly and I would just request changes on here. And that makes sense because this burner panel, I want to revise to a new design that has been, explored to during change, that kind of stuff. So I'll just request a change here. And now that request a change, if I look at my branches, my associated branches, I can choose my first design, or actually, you know what? I'll choose the second design. And I can actually merge this. So now I'm merging, it allows me to merge it. And look at this, I have this knob burner mark, which is a new part. So now I'm not just changing something I had, but I'm also adding some part. So I have two choices here. I could keep it on check, which will keep it in this folder and where it is, but it will be part of the merge. Or I can also create a new file, which would create the file inside the branch source file. So basically, if I create a new file, this nub will get in that project folder. But that's not what I want. I want to keep it, in its vendor part, so I can just not select the merge here and check in on merge and merge that. So now that I am under change, I just changed for my new design with my new vendor nub. They're actually, this guy is in his vendor folder. It's all good. This is part of my main, main assembly or my main design process. And from here, I can just change the state and, go on with my normal approval process and approve the changes. And now back to approve, my burner assembly is at Rev B, and it's all referencing the right stuff. And that's how it works. So does it, so here I work. I'll just answer a couple of questions. So does this branching an assembly creates new assembly and new part model? So yes, it does. So when you branch, you're creating new files. So if I kind of take this door and I decide I'm branching, just gonna put it in that working folder, for example, in here. And then give it a name, test. So those are approved files, right? In version 2, that kind of stuff. So if I branch this door assembly into test and go and look at my working folder, the door assembly here is a version 1 and it's in under editing. So it creates a new assembly, creates new files, create a whole new structure. And that's why also when you're branching, you can also choose what you want to branch. So if I'm taking a top level assembly here, and I decide I'm branching this top level, I can uncheck, I can check some components I want to branch, and I can uncheck some that would not get branched, right? So good question. But ultimately, this branching and merging allows you to do completely separate design and then merge them back so it retains the relationship. So you don't have to kind of check out and replace the files. You don't have to find them or something like that. It does retain the relationship here. Another question I have here, if PDM settings for parts assembly variable are set to use unique value. They're set to use unique value. Well, the idea here is you would not check them in on branch, and then you could go and change those values in the data card. Some values, you know, if it's your name or your part number that is a unique value, you could, you know, rename, you can, that kind of stuff. So some things can be changed, but you don't have to check in after branching. You can let it checked out and go and modify those. Yeah, so if you're also using a vault where you disallow duplicate file name, then you have to give different name, and that's why you have those transform operation. Use either a serial number or use a different prefix for like design 1, design 2, design 3, that kind of stuff that will, you know, mass change the name of the files here. And that's the idea. The same thing with copy tree, and the same thing with when you when you use copy tree, you're basically creating new files as well, right? You're just not maintaining any references to its original. But if you're in a disallow duplicate file name, you would still have to use those operations here. All right. So that's basically the functionality in a nutshell. You know, very easy to use, but also very easy to incorporate into engineering change. That's very very good functionality for it. It's really good for exploring new design, having multiple branches of products and having them on their separate approval and then merging them back in your production line, you know, whenever you're ready. So yeah, the original file remains after merging. So, oh, sorry, yes, so you merge back into the original file, and then let's see, and then in the original, or the branched one remains in its folders. So if I go in my working folder, even though I branch my design 2, I still have a design 2 here, and this design 2 is actually not part of my production, right? Because it's got a different name. It's got a different, it could be in a very different state than the other one. So this remains. You can always, you know, delete that. Well, I'm in approve right now, but let's say I do it on the door assembly that is under editing. So I could delete this, which, you know, let me know that I'm deleting a branch as well. So you would delete the branch. Okay. So the design merge and branch, I have a question about, and man, if it's available only in Pro or Standard. It's not available in 2017. It's only available in 2018. If you choose to create new drawings when a design is merged, the drawing replaces the original drawing. Yes, they do. So the same thing. So it's a file per file kind of thing. So so it would just replace the one with name. So basically, if I do the same thing with a drawing, it will replace the drawing. Let's see. So drawing in its part, I'm creating a new branch. I'm just gonna put that in my working folder. Actually, I don't have to, but let's do it anyways. All right. I have the test too, so I'll just put that in a state that allows me to change it. And I can go on my branch and then merge that. It will basically merge those two. So basically same thing. Okay, if there's no further question, thank you very much for attending this quick webinar on design branching and merging. It's a pretty good functionality. I hope you're gonna get good use of it. It's really help for the for your designs, and you can always look for other videos that we have, recorded webinars or tutorials that we have on our webpage. If you have any issues, you can always contact support. And again, thank you for attending, and you guys have a good Wednesday.